the Estate Planning video series. I'm Teresa Clancy, I'm an estate planning attorney, and in this series I hope to bring you closer to completing your estate plan and checking it off your to-do list by watching one video for 5 minutes each day. This is the third video and last video in that series. You've learned the basics of estate planning in the first video. You've learned to identify the right path for you to take to complete your estate planning in the second video. And now in this third video, you are going to be able to take 3 simple steps in order to move on down your path to completion and checking an estate plan off your to-do list. So, what are those steps? Step 1 is to identify a deadline. Step 2 is to choose your people, and step 3 is to create an asset list. So let's start with step 1. So, estate planning needs a deadline. There's really no two ways about it. And the best deadline to set is a completion deadline, not a beginning deadline, because that is the goal. The goal is completion, not to begin, because if you don't complete it, it's not effective. 60 to 90 days should be plenty of time for you to get it completed. However, you're going to get it there, whether you're going to use an attorney or some other way. And in addition to setting that deadline, you need accountability to keep you from blowing your deadline. And the way you do that is you tell someone that's going to keep you on track and ask you, did you finish that estate plan? Where are you with your deadline? That's step number 1. Step number 2 is to identify your people. You need to choose a financial person, a medical person, beneficiaries, and a guardian. The medical person you want to look for is somebody who can make those big medical decisions. You've identified what you want in your documents, however, they're the ones that are going to have to execute on what you want. So you want to choose someone that's willing to do that, and you also want to choose a backup, because you don't want to be panicked if something happens and the person you've chosen can't do the job. Likely, it's good to choose one of those people who live close enough driving distance away to be boots on the ground. So like 3 or 4 hours if possible. The financial person, you need to choose somebody who's trustworthy. They have a fiduciary duty to you at your incapacity and then to your beneficiaries at your death. However, they will have control over your finances. So you need to choose somebody who's trustworthy and somebody who will make it happen and get things moving. Because the worst thing is that your bills aren't getting paid or your beneficiaries aren't receiving their inheritance. So again, just like medical, you should also choose a backup so you're not panicked if something happens to the person that you've chosen and they can no longer do the job. As far as beneficiaries, this is usually the easiest decision. Most people know exactly who they want to receive their assets. So here you just want to make sure that the percentages of who's going to receive how much is identified. You likely, in a lot of instances, are just having everything equal, but if that's not the case, you want to choose who is going to get how much. And then as far as the guardian is concerned, that's usually the hardest decision for people. You don't have a crystal ball, so you can't predict who's going to be the best guardian when your child's 15 if they're 2 years old. So I think the best thing to do is just choose a guardian that will be the best guardian for the next 3 to 5 years. If something changes and that person needs to be substituted with somebody else, that's great. Then you make the substitution. Not choosing a guardian is the worst situation, because not choosing a guardian means a judge or your family is going to make that decision. And that doesn't seem fair on your family if they have to decide who should be guardian. So those are your people, and moving on to the last step, which is creating an asset list. And this is super basic. All you need to do is identify all your major assets, not your personal property, so not your salt and pepper shakers or the items, all of your jewelry. This is accounts and real estate. And you need to just identify what it is and where it is. So if it's a house, you need to identify what it's real estate and where your address, what your checking account and where the bank. what, your 401k, where is the financial institution? And just keep going on down that really basic, because that is the information that you will need when you go to draw up your estate planning documents. All right, so there you have it. Your 3 simple steps. Set a deadline with accountability, choose your people, and set up an asset list so you know what you own and where it is. And I hope with these 3 simple steps, along with identifying your path that's right for you and using the information you learned that are the basics of estate planning, you feel ready to move forward, create your estate plan, and check it off your to-do list. All right, well, if you want to book an appointment with me to create an estate plan, you can do that through my website, or you can just email me to contact me to ask questions or create an appointment.